Toilet.
Bathroom.
Restroom.
The ladies' room.
Boys' room.
Loo.
Powder room.
Washroom.
The flush toilet was a transformative invention. It made Europe's growing cities 2 centuries ago livable. However, the technology, some people say, is perhaps a bit outdated. It uses drinkable water to flush away nutrients, and there are people who are looking for new ways to process human waste that would be more ecologically sustainable and could bring sanitation to developing countries where it currently is not available. The current system uses drinkable water to flush away human waste. It's often called flush and forget by sanitation experts. That has its advantages. People in their homes don't need to deal with the waste, but it does sort of push the problem downstream. It costs them money and energy to clean that drinkable water to be able to release it back into the environment. And those things can be in short supply, especially in regions where water and fresh water is in short supply. Sewage systems are either unsustainable or it simply doesn't make sense to build new ones. Another problem is that the waste contains pollutants and nutrients that cause environmental problems downstream. Phosphorus and nitrogen are the biggest problems. Those can cause algae blooms and dead zones in waterways, and often the current system mixes household waste and human waste with industrial waste, which makes things even more complicated to clean up on the other end. The ideal toilet 2.0, which is what some experts are calling it, would be decentralized so that it's easy to use in rapidly urbanizing areas and wouldn't have to be connected to a larger system. It would be relatively inexpensive so that it's easy to use in poor areas where sanitation is lacking. It will use little water so that it can be used in dry regions, and it will ideally recover some of the nutrients and even the energy that's present in human waste. Phosphorus and nitrogen are 2 key components of human waste, and those are also key components of fertilizer. And if you could find a way to recover those, you could reuse them. Feces especially contains carbon and so can be used as an energy source that could, in theory, be used to run the system. And of course, we also need the solution to be hygienic, no odors, no mess, and easy and attractive for people to use. One of the simplest technologies for treating human waste in a new way is the composting toilet. And this has actually been around for several decades. There's even a book called the Humanure Handbook that talks about how to install a composting toilet in your home. The composting toilet uses aerobic bacteria to digest the contents of the toilet and in the end produces compost that can be used easily in horticultural settings on non-edible plants and with some extra processing even in agricultural settings. Another technology that many people say makes a lot of sense is the separation toilet. That separates urine and feces at the collection point. That makes everything easier to process. It's easier to collect the nutrients from the urine and recover clean water. It's also easier to treat the feces on the other end. They don't emit as many odors when they're not mixed with urine, and it's a smaller volume, so it ends up being easier to disinfect and treat that part of the human waste. One of the things that has brought new energy to the field is the fact that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has started what they're calling the Reinventing the Toilet Challenge. That has inspired a number of researchers who aren't usually involved in sanitation engineering to try new ideas to come up with this ideal toilet 2.0. One team, for example, is trying hydrothermal carbonization. That's a relatively new chemical process that turns it into a coal slurry that then makes it easy to recover clean water and energy. Challenges remain, of course. Getting people to use new toilets is no small hurdle. People hope that if the solution is attractive enough, it will market itself. This is an issue that all societies, all people have to deal with. We don't like to talk about it much, but finding a new way to go more ecologically would be a benefit to both developing countries and the industrialized world.
Water closet.
The WC.
El baño.
Facilities.
John.
Lavatory.
The lav.
Porta potty.
Bog.
Potty.
Urinal.
Sometimes people call the actual toilet el water for some reason.